Christoph Gümbel is widely regarded as one of the leading minds in digital prototyping and applied simulation methods for design and functional verification in the vehicle development process. He spent over 30 years with Porsche, starting off as a software engineer and progressing to the role of head of CAE, then director of the virtual vehicle. He's now a consultant for the virtual development process and partner at Future Matters, one of Europe's leading future research institutes. Christoph, thanks for talking with us today.
Thanks for the introduction.
No problem. As we've said, you're one of the leading voices on virtual development in the automotive industry. It's something you're obviously passionate about. How did your career go from, software engineer at Porsche to where you are today? What drives you?
Yeah, when I started with Porsche, I started as you mentioned, as a software engineer for test automation. So I had something to do with computer-aided testing. Mm-hmm. So later on, I became responsible for computer-aided design, and later on for computer-aided engineering. And computer-aided engineering, that means that you predict something, you predict the behavior of a future product. Mm. So you have something to do with the prediction of a functionality, for example. During my last years, we worked together with some futurists. So I belonged to a group of people working on the next generation of cars. Mm. So to look into the future was always something that I had in mind. Mm. And so I said, okay, after they asked me, would you like to join us? I said, yeah, could make fun. Yeah, and I did it.
Excellent. It's like you said, you worked at that stage with futurists, and you now describe yourself as a futurist. It's obviously, you find it very important. How important is it to always be looking to the future?
Yeah, I would say it's essential for survival, more or less, because if you are too early, that's not good. If you are too late, it's also not good. So Elon Musk said once, if a trend becomes obvious, you are too late. Yeah. So in that case, it plays really a big role. And so it depends on the strategy of the company. Where is your core competence? Where would you like to lead a technology? And where you would like to be, for example, fast follower. But to be a fast follower, it is essential that you are fast and not to wait too long. And so I think to look into the future, it is something that is something that every manager has to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's essential, like you say, to look forward, especially in times of, like, for example, in the automotive industry, there's lots of change going on just now.
Absolutely, there's a lot of change, and what I learned with Future Matters is the meaning of a tipping point, on the tipping point prediction. And we saw in the past a lot of tipping points. For example, when we think about smartphones, when we think of digital cameras, for example. Now, when we think about energy, how we produce energy from coal or renewable energy, what is cheaper and what drives this technology? So the question is, when will be such a tipping point? And a tipping point means that everything will change. So another example is a tube TV, and now you have a flat screen. Yeah. And the flat screen has a lot of advantages. The resolution is better, the colors are better, power consumption is better, and so on and so on. So you have and it's cheaper. So you have a lot of advantages. And as long as you have those advantages, this change is always non-linear. And what we see is it is accelerating from one technology to go to another technology.
Yeah.
This trend becomes really, is accelerating. And we have the same now with ICEs, with combustion engines. And so in that case, it's always the question, what is with your perception? When it is perhaps you see, I think it was the same with the sailboats and the steamships.
Yeah.
So suppose you're sailing on the sail ship and you only see sail ships and you see one steam boat, then you say, okay, it's only one. Doesn't matter. And the same happened, for example, with combustion engines, and we had the first Tesla electric vehicle, and everybody said, okay, forget it. It's a small company, it's a technology only for very small cars, and so that will not matter, will not have any influence. So, and after we have achieved and we saw, okay, 0.5% of new cars are now battery electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles, then 1%. When you start and your perception says, okay, now it plays a significant role or more or less for our business, it's influencing our business, you have to start to develop. And to start to develop, that means you need the infrastructure, you need the skill, you need the people, and so on. And so it takes a couple of years until you have your start of production. And this is the critical issue. So to be too late, then is very bad for your company. And therefore, it's essential for survival.
Is this obviously we've got your keynote coming up in the NAFEMS World Congress in October. Is this the sort of thing that you'll be delving into detail in?
Yeah, a little bit more into details and have a little deep dive just for a general understanding. Yeah, because it's so difficult if something is so small, an obstacle or something like this is so small. It's the same with automated driving. It's you have to identify, you have to see, you have to identify, then the perception to understand what happens. So the business is becoming different in the future, but there are also some opportunities, and then to spend money into this. And this means you have to decide, and this is the management perspective. And so a manager has a different point of view. So he is more or less in a helicopter. So when you are a CIE expert, it's completely a different point of view than having the perspective of a manager. Yeah.
And you talk about industry extending the existing development process. What do you mean by that exactly? How can those existing processes be improved and extended in the automotive industry?
I think what is most important for the automotive industry, because the big shift, the change has already started.
Yeah.
So what plays a significant role is speed now, and to accelerate everything. And so Herbert Dies asks, are we fast enough? So then it's the same issue with automated driving. Now your perception says there is an obstacle. The question is, what can you do? You should brake, you should accelerate, whatever. You have to do something, and to do it right is now the question. So speed plays the significant role, and CIE can help to be faster. It is one of several measurements that you have in your toolbox, and the most I would say the most challenging issue is the mindset. So there's a big difference between the legacy car makers, the veterans, and the startups. and those companies coming from the software side. And what we see, for example, in China, what they are doing is pretty interesting because they are combining two industries. So when you look at companies, new companies, they are feeded more or less from two sides. From a company who has the experience in the automotive business, and another company who has which has the experience with software and the IT, information technology and things like this. Yeah. So I think and this accelerates the situation again. And they are also preparing to start in the European market.
Yeah,
I think they have already in Norway, but in next year we will see more in Europe again.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's that there's a combination of factors. There's some really interesting points you're bringing up there about, we're past that tipping point, so it's it's what direction we then go in and how quickly that can happen. And I think that's a very good point about the fact that that's cross industry. That can be people from automotive, it can be from different manufacturing industries, from software industries. With events like the Congress, how important is that kind of getting together in that type of forum in order to sort of push that technology forward?
I think such a Congress, and I would appreciate if, people from both sides would participate. We will see, but I think it will inspire people to think about what's going on here, and also to, with respect of speed, how can we speed up the complete simulation process, for example. And what do we see here? We see, I think in every area, automation and smart automation, and the same I predict will happen here, or is going to happen, also in the CAE business. But I don't want to tell you too much.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask for some insight. Do you think that's the next big thing in the automotive industry, the sort of automation?
Automation, yeah. The automation of the product, automation of the process, everything. Because you have what we see today, and we speak always about replacing the internal combustion engine by an electric motor. But this is a little step. It's a big step for the veterans, but it's a little step with respect of business opportunities. Yeah, we know we need the infrastructure to charge the car and things like this. Okay, but the next step is connectivity. So with connectivity, you can download software, you can download functionality, and then you will have more opportunities for business. And the next step, this is the really big step, is automatic driving. With automatic driving, you have a lot of opportunities and a lot of threats for the automotive industry. Yeah, and also the role between suppliers and the OEMs, that is changing a lot. In addition,
Christoph, I could talk to you all morning, but I don't want you to give away too much about your keynote and your thoughts. It's been a real pleasure getting some insight from you, and I'm really looking forward to your keynote at the upcoming Congress. I hope to meet you there, and thanks for spending some time with us. Yeah, thanks for talking to you. Okay, thank you so much. Cheers.